Galacticos! Finally, we can say it. Champions of Europe. Yesterday we were very excited. We had the cannon lying on the floor. I was walking around. But today let's talk about the game with a cooler head, and a cooler weather as well. To start, I want to say that as we said in the preview, it was going to be sensations that were going to determine how the game would start. And I think that's what happened. The first 5 minutes, of course, we saw a lot of fear, maybe respect. But then the first ball that Bale had was very dangerous. He was fouled right outside the box. And there was a very clear chance by Casemiro that Oblak saves on the line. And then after that, I think Real Madrid said, okay, if we play, we can beat these guys.
Yeah, I think Real Madrid, the approach, especially in the first half, was Zidane wanted to go out there. He wanted to win the match, and we could see it. I mean, we didn't have that much possession of the ball, but when we did have possession, Real Madrid was playing first touch. We were playing very, very well on and off the ball as well. We saw Cristiano Ronaldo and Bale both tracking back and helping their right back and left back, Marcelo and Carvajal. And yeah, the first half was a great half. I feel like we kind of let it go in the first half.
Yeah.
It is true that Sergio Ramos's goal was slightly offside, but this is football. These things happen.
It was not such a clear thing. People are saying, like, oh, this is how Real Madrid wins. I don't think that's fair. The linesman was there. Like, they saw it very clear. He didn't think it was an offside, and it was a goal.
And also, if we're going to nitpick, then we should watch the replay again, and it could, that could have also been called a penalty. Because
that's true.
He was his. I don't know if it was.
I think it was Savic.
Savic was holding Ramos's shirt. So if we're gonna nitpick, then we have to do it both ways. Okay, fine. It was offside, but it could have also been called a penalty.
Yeah, and I think after the goal, and maybe 5 or 10 minutes after, I think it's true that Real Madrid and Atletico were kind of in a limbo. That they were not really looking for the game. Atletico didn't have the tools. We saw some good filter passes by Koke to Griezmann, but that's the only thing they have. And I think we were controlling it very well. I think Casemiro, Kroos, and Modric were doing a great job in the midfield yesterday. Covering the spaces and generating that the counter attacks that we didn't have. But because I think Cristiano and Benzema were very off last night.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I didn't like in terms of our defense was that Koke, he was putting those through balls, but to be fair to Koke, those through balls, they would have gone through any defense. If we had played a 4-5-1, they would have gone through 5 players because there were incredible passes, and that's the only thing they had. It was those through balls, but still, Griezmann was receiving those balls, and he had way too much freedom in the final third of the pitch, right at the front of our 18-yard box, and this was a little bit worrying. It is true that when he had to take a shot, he still had 2-3 players in front of him to take the shot, but still. A guy that can hit the ball a little bit better, maybe against another team like Barcelona or something like that. One of those shots could have been a little bit tougher. Keylor Navas. We're happy none of them were.
And I think after the first half, I was having the feeling that we were going to see some of the inverse situation that happened in Lisbon 2 years ago. Atletico scoring a goal with not much, and then Real Madrid going to look for it and not finding it until the end. And I think that's what happened in the second half. Second half, we saw a very strong Atletico coming for the game, a Real Madrid that really didn't know how to play or how to contain or what to do on the counter-attack for at least the first 25-30 minutes of the second half.
Yeah, the second half, it was hell.
Key moment. 3 minutes in the second half, there's a foul by Pepe to Torres, penalty kick. A lot of people say, was it a penalty? Yes, it was a clear penalty. And again, this is a game of moments and sensations. What would have happened if Griezmann had scored that goal? So Atletico was looking for that goal in the second half very strongly, and I think Real Madrid showed that we didn't have a clear response to control them.
Yeah. As I was saying before, the second half for me personally was hell. I totally felt what you were saying. It could have been like the Undecima, but in reverse. It felt like we were going to concede a goal and maybe even 2, and then Atletico was just going to sit back, do what they do best, and just defend, park the bus, and we were pretty much going to have to try to, pray for another Sergio Ramos or another goal in like the 93rd minute or something to tie it.
But it's true that in this scenario, we did have our chances at the counter-attack, and this is something we also had been talking in the preview, like we needed to be accurate. We knew we were not going to have many chances. Yeah. We saw a very clear chance by Benzema. I think that was the key emotionally for him, maybe, like after that. I don't know what was going through his head, but like that was a very clear goal.
Yeah.
That would have been the 2-0, 12 minutes before the end of the game, and I think that would have killed it.
Yeah, to talk a little bit about Benzema and Cristiano Ronaldo, I feel like, they went from being, let's say, an 8 or a 9 in the first half to pretty much going down to a 1, especially Benzema. I feel like this player, we will talk about this again in the summer with signings and stuff, but I feel this player has run his life in Real Madrid. It should be over. He should have scored that goal, or at least forced the goalkeeper, forced Oblak to make a save instead of just shooting it right at the I know it's easier said than done, but still, try to make the goalkeeper do something. I feel Benzema just did not have his match. Cristiano Ronaldo, he was kind of walking around.
Yeah, especially the second half and in the extra time. Well, to talk about the extra time in the end, I think like both teams signed the draw and said like, okay, let's define it in the 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think in the 30 minutes, none of them really looked for it. Like we had more chances than them. They didn't have very clear ones. But I think they felt more comfortable going to the penalty kicks, which I don't really understand because, like we have a better goalkeeper in the penalty kicks. Like he didn't stop any of the shots. Yeah. Neither did Oblak. But I think Atletico should have been more scared of defining the final in penalty kicks.
I think, Zidane said in the pre-match press conference that they were very, very prepared, and he highlighted the very prepared. And I think that part of that preparation was obviously the penalty kicks. Real Madrid went into the penalty kicks a lot more prepared than Atletico. Yeah. The players almost knew that Oblak, you were mentioning this yesterday, they knew that Oblak, he kind of gave himself away way too early. And if you look at the penalty kicks again, the players, they almost kind of stopped a little bit before kicking, and then they already
still took it to the same side.
They always caught him flat-footed, and I think that here, Real Madrid did an incredible job investigating and seeing how this player tries to stop penalty kicks. And in that, I know that the penalty kicks are usually a lottery, but I think in this case,
yeah, they are usually lottery, but like my personal opinion is like they're not that much of a lottery really. Like you have to be prepared, you have to be ready, you have to be like physically fit to take those penalties, mentally fit to take those penalties.
Yeah.
Again, like as I said yesterday, like special mention to Lucas Vazquez for me, like grabbing that ball and saying like I'm gonna take this first penalty. I think it just like shows how much courage and how much
Yeah. I mean, I think Lucas Vazquez should change his middle or change his name to Balls of Steel Vazquez, because for a youngster to have the balls to take the first penalty kick and take it with such just poise and calm.
Yeah.
What a player.
So I think in the end, the weather here is getting crazy, Galacticos. But in the end, we could talk for more hours about some polemic calls, the offside, the penalty. But I think in the end, it was a final with all the ingredients that it needed to have.
Yeah.
And I think my hat off to Cholo Simeone saying yesterday that, because some people are saying, Atleti would have been the fair winner, the fair champion, and it's not. The fair champion is the one who wins it.
Yeah, especially in a final, I think to go back to my previous point, it was all about preparation, and I think that we were more prepared than them in the penalty kicks, and we deserved to take it in the penalty kicks.
And we did Galacticos. Of course, we're going to talk a lot about what's going to happen now what's going to happen with Zidane. Is he going to have the chance to build a better squad? Is he going to have, 1 year, 2 more years as a manager? I think he should have. I think what he's shown that he can do in 5 months is just, for me, makes me really excited to look forward of what he can do in a full season.
Oh yeah, I mean, Zizou, chapeau. We're going to bring you a ton of content. Obviously, we're going to talk about the Euro Cup. We're going to talk about the Copa America. We're going to speculate a lot on signings. I think that Mourinho coming into Manchester United, Pep Guardiola coming to Manchester City, also Ancelotti in Bayern Munich. They're going to want to maybe poach some Real Madrid players. We'll be bringing you all that stuff. And what else can we say?
Yeah, we have to take a flight back to Madrid Galacticos. So if you haven't yet, like and subscribe. I want to know what you think, what you thought of the game, what do you think about our analysis. Do you agree with us or not? And we'll see you in Madrid.